Sure. Good evening, welcome to If I Rule the World, and joining Jeremy Hardy in the red team tonight is Doon Mackichan, and with Graeme Garden on the blues, Mark Steele. So let's kick off with Soapbox and find out the team's views on a topical subject. This week, education. Now, Jeremy, is education still a priority for you?
Read my lips, Clive. There will be no selection in schools, apart from those schools which are already selective or which become selective.
I follow.
May I also say that we very much support the work of Ofsted, because if teachers are failing, and many of them are, the best job for a failed teacher is to become an Ofsted inspector.
Right. I see. Yes. Doon, do you support this aspect of
Yes,
your
I
party's
do.
policy?
But we're actually very worried about discipline in the party. We want to instigate a zero-tolerance option in the playgrounds. We want to introduce more traditional sort of deterrents, the stocks, the rack, thumb screws, dunking for girls particularly.
And if for your own children, would you be sending them to state schools or non-selective schools?
I have been picked up for, my children are at school outside the borough.
Yes.
Gloucester's finishing school in Switzerland.
Yeah. Now let's see, how do you react to that, Graeme?
Well, we do have a coherent policy in the Blue Party: private education, corporal punishment and Sergeant Bilko.
Could I just say something
Yes.
about fees here? It used to be we were the party of free education, and what that meant, there was a whole generation, there were thousands of young people from working class backgrounds who were able to go to university for the first time in their family's history. Yep. And what that meant was that a lot of our leaders were rather common, and that's why we've got rid of it.
I see. All right. Yeah.
Well, I think it's very important at this stage to emphasise the absolute necessity of insisting that children at a very young age learn about family values, and that is why everybody in my party insists that when their children, at an age as young as 5 years old, they should be told, piss off to boarding school and don't come back till you're 16.
What about this new policy of sending small children to school, nursery schools for everyone, nursery vouchers being abolished?
Well, we were going to do this with the vouchers, but we realised that people who hadn't bought enough petrol wouldn't be able to send their children.
Yeah. What about league tables? Are you in favour of this?
We are in favour of it because it's thanks to the league tables that Gosport County Primary School are meeting Manchester United in the next round.
Yes. Well, that's a pretty convincing argument. Let's go on to another round, though, a round called It's a Stick-Up, where we try and make sense of the political posters which are put up, usually to the bafflement of ordinary voters like ourselves. Now, Graeme and Mark, what's this one about? What are we supposed to learn from this?
Well, I mean, the obvious slogan would be, Jimmy Hill, Jesus Christ.
Let's look at your poster, and what are we supposed to make of that? Is that man pregnant, or has he just been drinking?
No, our slogan is a six-pack is for drinking.
Yes.
Why bother to have 6 very clearly defined lumps on your stomach when you can just have one great big one?
Yes.
This is obviously a photo montage. It's a man's head superimposed onto Paul Gascoigne's body.
What do you make of this poster from your opponents?
Well, to me, clearly, this says nobody likes Labour.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think that may be... That may be a convenient moment to test the water of our studio audience here. So if you think blue is doing better so far, vote blue. If you think red are doing better so far, then vote red, and do it now. Oh, and there we are, 53 points to blue, 47 to red. So you're edging ahead.
No, I think it shows the public endorse our education policy to put us 34% ahead.
Good. Let's go on to the yes-no round, where we test out the politician's ability not to answer questions with a straight yes or no answer. If you do use the word yes or no, you'll hear this sound, and you'll be eliminated from the round. You understand that, don't you?
I understand entirely.
Jolly good. Do you think spin doctors are getting too powerful?
I think that question is in very poor taste, if you don't mind me saying so.
Do you need to speak to Alistair Campbell first?
I do not need to speak to him. I speak for myself.
Would you rather he had to answer these questions?
He is an entirely free individual. I have never met him, and I'm not entirely sure that he exists. He agrees with me entirely on
Isn't
that.
he your press spokesman?
Only in the sense of being my spokesman on the matter of the press.
But you say... you say he agrees... Yeah. Oh, well, there you went. You went past me. OK, that's... So, Graeme, do you think Deirdre from Coronation Street is innocent?
Well, Clive, this is a fictional character in a fictional soap
it?
opera. It is indeed.
You sure?
I'm absolutely positive.
But I think 50% of the people think it's a real character.
But 50% don't.
But do you think it's right for Parliament to spend its time talking about a fictional character when so many people languish in prisons unfairly anyway?
Yesterday... Well, let me finish. Yesterday, somebody asked
Do you think politicians are sometimes too clever for their own good?
me... No, never. Oh, this is preposterous. I never get a buzz from John Humphreys.
So Doon, have you been invited to Robin Cook's wedding?
I haven't had the pleasure.
Well, that's unusual. Can I move on to the Millennium Bug?
You can.
Are you worried about it?
I am.
Do you know what it is?
I do.
When's it going to come into place?
In the year 2000.
Is that really the Millennium, or was that 2001?
That is !.**, who knows?
Does technology rule our lives?
It does.
Our plane's going to crash.
They are.
Will my electric door opener be affected by the Millennium Bug?
It will. It'll go...
What? What does YES spell?
It spells... A word that's spelled backwards is save.
Mark, can I ask you about the pound?
Well, look, I think the public really want to know, this is what they really want to know in these days of law and order, is that this is a man who is a barrister, who has therefore defended people who are innocent, therefore he is the criminal's friend.
Well, not if I defend somebody who's innocent.
Oh, the liberal press can say whatever they like, but I've got only one thing to say. Deirdre, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
What about the pound? Do you think it's too high?
I think it's far too high.
Isn't it good for holidays?
It's exceptionally good for those people who have the time on their hands to go abroad, in which case they shouldn't be claiming benefit.
What about... Do you want to go into the European currency?
I'm not exactly sure what the European currency is.
Shouldn't you know that?
I suppose I should, as Shadow Chancellor, but I don't...
Isn't this a disgrace?
It is a disgrace. Yesterday, I bought something in Italy.
You?
Yes, when I was...
Yes. Oh, OK, well, that's it. Doon is the winner of that round. Well done. OK, let's do a round now where I like to keep in touch. First, I'm going to test out Jeremy on catchphrases and sound bites. Questions based on that. You've got 90 seconds. See how many you get right, and your time starts now. Jeremy, who charmingly said, "Smack my bitch up"?
Peter Purvis.
I'm tempted to give you half a point there, but no, it was Prodigy. Complete the recently revived advertising slogan, all because the lady loves...
Any chocolate at all.
Oh, no. What is the National Lottery catchphrase?
Tax the poor.
I'll give you a point for that, because I think you've made a good point. Could be you. Who said I'm king of the world?
Me.
Anybody else?
No.
No, James Cameron was on winning an Oscar for, or several Oscars for Titanic. Complete the line, I get knocked down.
By a speeding police car.
I get up again. Whose catchphrase is feck, arse, drink, girls?
Baldunican.
Close enough. Father Jack. What is BT's slogan?
Make lengthy, needless calls.
That's just got edged out by it's good to talk, so I can't give anything there. Who said show me the money?
Me.
You've answered that all right. Jerry Maguire. Where might you hear he's a dog, kick him to the curb, girlfriend?
Puppy training school.
Ricky Lake Show. Complete the Red Party slogan, things can only get...
Similar.
Let's go to you, Graeme, now. And this is new words. See how in touch you are with new words as they're forming in the language. You have 90 seconds for these questions, and your time starts now. What's the meaning of mouse potato?
This triumph of genetic engineering is a jacket potato that gets its own cheese.
That's actually a better definition, but it in fact is a person who spends an excessive amount of time in front of a computer. A car bra.
It holds up traffic.
Yeah. I'll give you a point for that. It's a protective device to be fitted over the front of a car. That's why you want to do that. I don't know. Jaggies.
Thick lips.
Jaggers, not jaggies. They are the process of making jagged ends less noticeable. What on earth that would be? I don't know. Karoshi.
Japanese car wash.
That is death caused by overwork, but there you are. Lamping.
That's table tennis played with a small sheep. Lamping.
I don't think so. A form of hunting using a bright light to dazzle the hunted animal. Yeah. Well, you might have got up with that. Granny dumping.
That's a very unpleasant habit. It's dumping your granny outside a hospital.
That's it, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll get a point for that. You're abandoning a granny or old person anywhere where you shouldn't. Marzipan layer.
It's one of those blokes who comes round and offers to do the driveway.
A middle-ranking stockbroking executive. A slaphead.
A very, very handsome man.
Yeah. Yes. 2 points for that. That's it, I'm afraid. And you got 4 points there. So Graeme won on the points count there. Let's go and take a vote now, so see which way you're swinging at the moment. So vote blue if you like the blue party, red if you like the red, and do it with your bits of equipment now. And there we are. And the red party are 54 to 46. Well, it's not much that you're behind, but it's kind of swinging against you, isn't it, Graeme?
Well, look, Clive, if I could make one thing perfectly clear, believe me, I would.
Yes. OK, now we come to a game called State of the Nation, and our politicians have to try and work out what this studio audience would have answered to 4 questions, one each. Mark, your one is this. Name something that Germans are good at.
I'll tell you some things that the Germans are good at. Standing up in their bureaucratic chambers in Brussels and telling us that we can't have a bendy banana anymore. That's what they're good at.
But Brussels is in Belgium. It's not in Germany at all.
Yes, well, that was this morning. How do we know that? Telling us that we've got to win Wimbledon and score in penalty shootouts. These things just aren't the British way.
Yeah. All right, so what do you think the actual answer is? Just plump for one of these.
I would think scoring at penalties.
Scoring penalties. Let's see if that's what the most popular answer was, scoring at penalties. Starting wars. People with slightly longer memories and prejudices than that. Starting wars, though oddly enough, losing wars was the third most popular. Beaten into third place by sun lounger reservations. Picking on Steve McQueen. I don't know what that would be now. You stayed too much watching films. The second question goes to Doon, and the question asked here was, what annoys you most about men? What do you think the most popular answer to that would be?
Well, I think men have a terribly hard time with the roles that they're forced to play. They don't know whether to be new lad or new dad. So, I mean, if I was pressed, I would say beards, flatulence, nasal hair, hairy backs, bum cracks, skid marks, foul language, going, yes! Dribbling, gobbing, fiddling with their bollocks, beer bellies and burping. But I mean, you know, I'm really nitpicking here.
Yes.
So,
Can you just pick one of those?
Yes, I'd say beer bellies.
Beer bellies. All right, let's see what the most popular answer was. I think they're always right. That's the one thing you didn't mention, but
no, I didn't.
You must have been tempted. Farting was second and scratching themselves in public was third, so you mentioned there. Always want sex, somebody said, and somebody else said never want sex. They want to swap husbands, I think. And one person said the most annoying thing about men was Jeremy Clarkson, which is...
That's very true.
Strange answer. Now, Graeme, your question, or the question that you have to work out the answer to, was name something that's bad for your health. What do you think the audience went for on that?
Well, the National Health Service, obviously. But what did the audience go for? Smoking, drinking, sex, bungee jumping. What other hobbies do I have?
Do you do them all together? Or...
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a real buzz.
Which of those?
Well, I'm tempted by goosing Saddam Hussein, but
I don't think your own private life has to come to it quite so much as that.
I think this audience said smoking.
Smoking. Let's see what the answer is. Smoking, 26%. Well done. Some other people saying something about your health. Falling out of high buildings, rather. Autoerotic asphyxiation was another suggestion. Quite a young conservatives in, I think. Going out without your vest on was somebody with a kindly mother, I feel. Jeremy, your question is this. Where is the most unusual place that you've had sex?
I would think probably an aquarium.
An aquarium?
I would say an aquarium would be a fairly unusual place to have sex. A chicken run I could understand entirely, but an aquarium would be fairly difficult, especially if one was on one's own. A great deal of very thick glass to be got through.
Wearing scuba gear.
Well, that ranges a whole...
Makes it rather difficult.
Well, but also more interesting.
Yeah.
I hardly like to intrude on this discussion, but I think you're plumping for aquarium there, which, let's see what the audience said. The most unusual place to have sex, nightclub toilets.
I would have thought that was one of the most common in the world.
On the platform of the TUC annual conference was a good one. A pig shed was another one. I know we've got some parties in from different parts of the country. It doesn't say who's it with, whether it's the pig or somebody else. One person answered, in your house, while you were asleep. With your wife. Oh, hi, Steve. I didn't know you were in. Anyway, we have to move on now to a round called Hidden Agendas. This can involve a question from the audience. Somebody here got a question for our team captains? Yes, madam, what's your question, please?
What is your policy towards a European single currency?
OK, policy towards European single currency. You can't just answer it. You've got to also bring up your hidden agenda. Your hidden agendas are hidden in those envelopes there. And as Graeme will give some hint of his, and Jeremy and Doon can try and guess what's going on. What is your policy towards the European single currency?
Well, hi.
Hi.
As we glide toward the midnight hour, the witching hour, and on into the wee small hours beyond.
Yeah.
Let's share some thoughts on the single European currency. Worry not. It's easy listening. I need a euro. A euro in the heat of the night. And now for all you Euro-skeptic night owls out there, stepping up to the turntable, it's the king of spin, Mandy Mandelson, with some really cool, middle-of-the-road policies just for you.
Oh, have you got a guess?
Is it something to do with Radio 2 Night Ride?
Well, Radio 2, you're going to be... that's all we needed. You only had to guess that he wants to be a Radio 2 disc jockey, but you showed an impressive knowledge of Radio 2 schedules from a man of your age and inclinations. Anyway, let's hear your answer, Jeremy, to the same question. And again, the other side has to guess your hidden agenda.
Well, I'm going to answer this question very carefully,
Yes.
because they're listening. They've got, like, microphones and everything.
Right.
They know what we're doing and they know what we're thinking. Okay. Now, clearly, sometimes you might need to go abroad, like, say, Amsterdam. And if you're having to hassle with a lot of currency change, you're in the airport for a very, very long time, and that can make you really paranoid. Now, clearly, a lot of things are going to have to sort of converge. And we thought it was the wrong time to enter the single currency because we just couldn't get it together, really. You know?
Yes, you got a guess here?
I would hazard a guess at the legalised cannabis campaign.
Oh, yes, well done. Well guessed. I think that's... OK, now we'll go to a round called Speech, and it's for Doon, and we'll just check out Doon's ability to be a real politician, i.e. to be able to make a speech with even the most unpromising material. And what we've given there is a few of the more popular football chants you might hear on the terraces, and see if you can make it sound like a proper political speech. And away you go now.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. We hate Tottenham and we hate Tottenham. We hate Tottenham and we hate Tottenham. We hate Tottenham and we hate Tottenham. We are the Tottenham haters. You're shit and you know you are. You are shit and you know you are. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Who's the wanker in the black? Who is that wanker in the black? You're not singing anymore. You're going down with Palace. Shit grounds, no fans. Toon army, you're shit. Ah! My old man said, be an Arsenal fan. I said, fuck off, bollocks, you're a
Well, I'm sorry. You blatantly added an extra bit there, which I, for one, found most offensive. But anyway, let's go into a vote, and you have to vote now if you think you prefer the red party. Then vote red, despite that atrocious remarks about Arsenal.
Just before we do this, Clive, can I say that I think in the interests of good taste,
yes,
that there should definitely be bleeped out from that the word Arsenal.
Yes, I will make a formal apology for saying the word Arsenal.
Anyway, we're going to a vote, and if you think the red party is doing well, then vote red, and if you think the blue party you prefer, then vote blue, and do it now. Oh, and there we see the red party is stormed into the lead. Possibly the assistance of some very jealous fans of other football clubs. But do you think it's your policies that are getting you ahead, Jeremy and Doon? Or just some disgraceful playing to the crowd?
I think it's sheer naked lust on the part of the audience.
Yes. So how much are you contributing to that?
Well, in my own under-the-desk way, quite a lot.
Yeah. As we go on to a round called I Couldn't Disagree More, our politicians must be able to disagree with anything their opponents say, however reasonable. And this week we're going to have a head-to-head battle between Graeme and Jeremy. So, Jeremy and Doon, what are your first policy statements for Graeme to disagree with?
The French should give us more World Cup tickets.
No, I couldn't disagree more. They should give us all the World Cup tickets.
Yes.
Animal experiments may sometimes be necessary, but they certainly aren't fun.
No, I couldn't disagree more. Yes, they're necessary, and they are the most enormous fun. I saw some film recently of a rabbit testing mascara intravenously, and I'm sending it to Beadle. It's wonderful. And, you know, they are important because suppose your child needed a serious lipstick. You'd want it to be tested out on animals first, I can assure you that.
Do you like seeing animals in lipstick?
Comme ci, comme ça. I mean, I did,
going all French on us,
well, yes, I did once have a terrible reaction to makeup. I saw Barbara Cartland. And...
It's our view that personal hygiene is important.
No, I couldn't disagree more, as you very well know.
Any more?
There's no excuse for rudeness.
Oh, bollocks.
Well, let's switch roles then and see if Mark and Graeme come up with the policies with which Jeremy can fail or succeed in disagreeing.
Britain is best at everything.
No, I couldn't disagree more. Britain is shite at most things.
Is that party policy?
No, it's just the truth.
Yes, any more?
Sex with animals is never enjoyable.
Sex with animals is part of the rough and tumble of politics.
Now, surely you must agree it's impolite to break wind on television.
No, in some cultures it's considered a great compliment to the host.
Not to this host, thank you.
It's too late, I'm afraid.
There is no excuse for granny dumping.
Well, the fact is that Granny has to dump, and, you know... Where she
I think
dumps
we've got
is
enough of
another
that. OK, well, we have to go on to our next round. In fact, it's the last round. Time for people to come up with as many different extra policies they can think of to grab some extra votes from the gullible electorate. Yes.
Keeping people in prisons costs us millions every year, so we suggest closing down the prisons and then giving the money saved direct to the criminals. And then they won't need to go thieving anymore.
Yes. Yes?
I think it should be illegal to go to the swimming pool and do the backstroke diagonally from one side to the other.
We would like to encourage more young people to the party. We're going to offer a free special speed garage and pumping house night at the House of Commons, called In the House, because it will be in the House of Commons.
Give it large.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going down well already, yes.
We're aware that a major national resource is being overlooked. We are not mining clouds, and it appears that geological tests have shown that every cloud has a silver lining.
You've got back to Proverbs, haven't you?
I never left Proverbs, Clive. I've been entirely consistent throughout my career.
Yes. Well, we think we should put more money into the law courts, because I was watching a case on the television news the other day, and it's disgraceful that they couldn't even afford a proper judge and had to make do with a drawing.
Jeremy.
We want to bring in mediation between bad workmen and their tools, so there can be a no-blame settlement.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah. Graeme?
We'd like to reassure the people of Northern Ireland that the future's bright, but not necessarily orange.
Oh, I'm afraid no, it's too late there. As the end of the round, signalled by the division bell. So let's go to the polls, as I think Adolf Hitler once said. So vote red for red, or blue for the blue party. This is the actual election, so vote now. And there we are, an astonishing 71 to 29 victory for the Red Party. Well, that's the election. It's thrown you out after a long succession of victories, but you've been dumped by the electorate. What do you say to that?
Well, now I know how grannies feel.
Yeah. Well, I think you have done for some time, but what do you have to say? Let's just have to go to the Red Party. What's your opinion here?
I'm sorry, I'm slightly thrown by the fear of grannies.
Yeah.
I think this means very clearly that we've won.
This is the last programme in this series, so it's time now for our politicians to sit down, put their feet up and take a rest, or go to the House of Lords, as it's normally called. But for now, it's good night from If I Ruled the World. Good night.
To Lee and Herring, life is not just black and white, more comedy, satire and farce to make the world go round at 5 to 12.